Another crazy week of college football's in the books. Apparently some poor soul from Kansas State had to take a trip to Taco Bell and reverse eat a beefy 5-layer burrito. We'll see. Again, it's the curse of the mega bet. Is
the mega bet, man.
Yeah, my co-host David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, going to go ahead and bring him in here. My brother Blaine Crane, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, also hopping in. First off, wake up. Let's go. Wake up. We got a lot to talk about. All right. A lot to talk about. But first, again, we talked about how, chalky week 1 was, how drunk week 2 was, how if you got pulled over, you would have still got a DUI if you were driving. Week 3 was, and week 4 was just another drunk week. It's basically a year of alcoholism, it seems like, for college football. I'll start with Cone.
Well, it started Friday night, too. I mean, Nebraska loses, Syracuse loses. I was wondering if it would just be a Friday night thing or if it would carry over until Saturday. It carried over until Saturday, and now I'm watching Kansas State. BYU, Parker Kingston out here running around, scoring touchdowns on, running a mile long, throwing up after. And now, curse of the mega bet this year, man. You got to stop.
Blaine, you could actually say it maybe started on Thursday when South Alabama –
USA.
Absolutely.
Well, look, I mean, college football is always going to be crazy. But am I surprised by a lot this weekend? No, I don't think so. Nothing really blew my mind. BYU Kansas State game. I mean, Kansas State hadn't been playing great. So is the score a little bit surprising? No, but am I surprised BYU won? No, not that game.
All right, so make sure you hit that subscribe button in the chat. We're going to get to your comments if you donate, and it's on topic of the game we're talking about. It will get read at that time. If not, it will get read at the end. We appreciate you guys. If you don't know, we do a live weekday show, 2 to 3:30 p.m. Central. Easy to find on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. All right, let's start with this Tennessee-Oklahoma game. Obviously this was, billed as the game of the weekend, and really it didn't disappoint. You're still going to have people that say, oh, well, Oklahoma's offense is really bad, and they weren't good. I mean, there were some unforced errors there, but there were some forced errors. But the fact that Tennessee, once again, has showed us, because I don't think Nico played exceptional. He didn't play awful. He lost a couple fumbles. He ended up 13-21, almost 200 yards and a touchdown passing, really rushing. Didn't do that much, had 8 carries for 15 yards against a really good Oklahoma defense. Tennessee showed you they can win a rock fight. They've showed you they can win a track meet, and you can sit here and tell me about the teams that they've played on the schedule. But watching them run around on defense, especially in that front 7, and seeing the depth and the ability to make play after play and wave after wave, and then answer turnovers with forcing turnovers. I thought the biggest play of the game, even though it was really early, was when Tennessee fumbled and gave Oklahoma the ball with a short porch. Then the next play, Tennessee rips the ball out of Jackson Arnold's hands before he hits the ground, and then you have a total flip of momentum and really, really quieted the crowd. So you look at this Tennessee team, we got to start, the conference championship stuff has kind of been being talked about. Is this team national championship good? They look as versatile to me as anybody out there, and I think Nico's only going to get better. But, David, I want to start with you. Josh Heupel, who won a national championship at Oklahoma as a quarterback, got fired as the OC at Oklahoma as the quarterback, comes back into Norman and wins with defense. If that's not pulling a Harvey Dent, I don't know what is.
Yeah, this was one of the few games that went kind of how I thought it was going to. And when we did our preview with Clay Travis, I said Brent Venables and the Oklahoma defense will have the best possible plan against this Tennessee offense that you can have. And I still don't think it will be enough. You saw them do a lot of the same stuff that NC State was trying to do. 3 down, stack, trying to protect against the run game, but also the wide RPO game. And look, they held strong. And I said, can you turn Nico over a couple times the same way that NC State was able to, but just not then give up 51 points. And they did. They got 2 strip sacks. That keeps you in the game. The longer you make Nico hold the ball, any young quarterback really, the more opportunity you're giving defense for good things to happen. And yet he still stands in there and he's dotting post routes. He's an NFL player. He's going to play in the NFL. And so to me, that's why I think that Tennessee should be in the national championship conversation. That combined with this defense, and not just good on defense, Jake, Josh Heupel's Venables prioritizing it. You can see him talk in press conferences about all of the great defensive players that have come through Tennessee. He said, this is the University of Reggie White. That's the kind of stuff that would get me hype as a Tennessee fan. The only thing I wasn't anticipating in this game was Jackson Arnold getting benched. Michael Hawkins Jr. comes in. My question to you guys is that the guy moving forward for Oklahoma?
Well, it's my thing, and Blaine, obviously bring you in here. When it comes to the quarterback situation, I don't know how you don't start Michael Hawkins Jr. next week. Not just because he went jumping in the air and flipped over. He was the only thing that really helped you move the ball. And he really is a problem running as a running threat. I mean, he's really, really quick. Reminds me of Jaden a little bit. Daniels at LSU, just about how quick he is. Not overall. I'm not trying to say he's the next Jaden Daniels, but he went 11-18 for 132 yards and a touchdown. And Jackson Arnold and Oklahoma fans, all offseason, we tried to tell you. I still think Jackson Arnold's going to be fine. That this offense was going to take time, and he was going to make young guy mistakes. I still think he's really talented. Is he going to transfer from Oklahoma at the end of the year if Hawkins ends up taking the reins the whole time? I don't know. As bad as he played, I'd take him at Auburn over what we have in a heartbeat right now, but that's a story for another day. If it's me, I think you got to play Hawkins Jr. because if you don't, that means you let the player who didn't play as good start the next game just because. And he was the only guy that was able to move the ball and eventually get you points and did show toughness. And I actually thought he threw the ball pretty decent. It wasn't like the guy that Arkansas brought in, the Singleton kid off the bench who couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But Josh Heupel, just to show you how non-stubborn smart coaches can be. Josh Heupel made up his mind, I think, at the end of the first quarter, what type of game this was going to be. This was Oklahoma could not move the ball to save their life. They were turning the ball over. Tennessee really wasn't moving the ball. All right. They were struggling to run the ball. Samson really didn't get going in the second half. Ended up with 24 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. But Tennessee struggled to run the ball overall as compared to what they had earlier in the season. You got to give credit. Oklahoma's got a top 10 defense, I think, in the country. Depth-wise, I'm not sure. But Stutzman and all those guys, I know the injuries just kept piling up. But Blaine, Josh Heupel knew what type of game that was going to be, and I think he made the conscious decision, we're not going to let Nico throw this one away. Not saying he would, but this is going to be a ground and pound, run the clock, let's get out of here with a rock fight dub. And that's what it was. I mean, Tennessee scored double digits in the first quarter. Oklahoma scored double digits in the second quarter. It was only 10-12. Outside of that, second quarter had a combined 9 points. Third quarter had a combined 3 points. That was a backyard bar fight, man.
Yeah, I don't think either offense looked good in this game. And I want to give kudos to what Oklahoma did on defense. They're not going to get talked about a lot because they did lose this game. But the Tennessee offense are not a bunch of slouches. I think it's one of the best in the nation. From a schematics and creative standpoint on defense, showing something, getting out of it. I thought Venables and then did a great job. If you talk about the quarterback situation with Oklahoma, I don't think we're going to see Jackson Arnold back out there. I don't know why. I don't know how you could put him out there after what you saw from Hawkins and his backup, the sparks and the layer that it gives when your offense, when you add the quarterback in the run game. Oklahoma's going to be fine. They got a bright future. If anything, you're building it defensively. And if you can stop that team on offense, you're going to be able to stop anybody in the nation. But to flip it to the other side, you have to have this conversation about Tennessee being able to win a national championship this year. Because how are they built? They are built defensively. If you watch this game, you saw waves and waves and waves get thrown at the quarterback so much that they had to bring the backup in. They have depth and they're fast. The thing about Tennessee, what people don't realize, they are coached well. They are coached extremely well on defense. They're older guys. They don't try to do too much. They're chained in each link, and they know how to get it together and move at the right time. And you don't see that a lot around college football these days. There's probably 3 to 5 teams that you really see that. So the Tennessee's future's bright for Tennessee. That offense has to play better. I know Oklahoma's good on defense, but I don't think either of these teams lost this game.
Well, David, when you look at Tennessee offensively, I think they're only going to get better, right? I mean, you look at Thornton, you look at Brew McCoy, you look at Squirrel White. Obviously, what they have in the run game. I only think Nico getting this experience. Don't forget, this is his first true SEC road game.
Yes.
Really, probably his first true road game overall. I mean, you had a neutral site game in NC State, and that was as loud as it's going to get. That environment at Oklahoma, and kudos to the Sooners fans, was as crazy as it is going to get, right? You're going to see as crazy. I don't think you're going to see crazier. They beat the LSU decibel level. But also that game was so unbelievably physical. Why was it physical? Because guys are fast. They are running. Those defenses sideline to sideline. Tennessee really stopped using pace when they realized how the game was going to be. And that's one of their best weapons. They're like, look, this is just going to be an old-fashioned, let's get the play in. Let's see if we can methodically move the ball and run some clock. But the difference in a team like Tennessee, right, and I want to give you an example of a play, and a team like Auburn, you see a team that's well-coached and a team that's poorly coached. They're on a big third down last night, about halfway through the third quarter, when Tennessee was going to get the ball back, if Oklahoma didn't get it on like 3rd and 14, and they could pretty much ice the game, the Hawkins kid took off around the corner. And Tennessee had a safety that could have laid him out, but it was 9 yards behind the first down marker, and it would have been close, right? A selfish, poorly coached player would have tried to take him out to make the big hit and hoop on this, but the smart player decided, you know what? Go ahead and get 5 yards. It's going to be 4th and 9 from your own 35. You're going to have to punt it. I would rather win the game than win the highlight reel. And that separates stupid from smart, champion from loser. And that's the difference.
Yeah, I'm glad you talked about this being his first true road game because we got to see him in a neutral site bowl game. And then the NC State game, while being in North Carolina, was still neutral site. And that's why I thought Oklahoma had a good chance to win this football game preseason. Thought Tennessee would have a better record than Oklahoma this year. But still, Nico going on the road for his first SEC road start. Everything was going to be jumping in Norman. I thought that Oklahoma had a good chance to win this game. But just looking at what Nico's been able to do, and not just him, but like you talk about with Josh Heupel being able to identify what an ugly, gritty game it was going to be from the jump. It reminds me of Kirby Smart. How often have we seen Kirby Smart do that? A quarter and a half in, say, "Oh, it's going to be one of these. This is our specialty." We just saw one on the road at Kentucky. It seems like they have 2 or 3 of them every year. And then if you want to have a 65-7 shootout in the national championship against TCU, we can win like that too. So yeah, I love that you brought that point up against Josh Heupel, which makes that matchup against Georgia in Athens that's going to be coming up even more interesting. They're going to get more opportunities, man. They get to play Georgia on the road. They get to host Alabama at home. Look, I think the sky's the limit for Tennessee right now.
Yeah. Blaine, what's the chat saying?
All right, chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate on topic, it will get read. We're going to start off with NH3425. He says, Georgia may be the only team that has a legit chance to beat Tennessee.
I think Alabama's got a legit chance. I mean, what would separate? What have you seen from Georgia that makes you feel so good about them playing against Alabama this week on the road? We talked, and again, that they're 2 elite teams. I'm not saying that Georgia can't win the game or that Georgia's not very good, but Georgia, to me, I'm worried about guys making explosive plays. I don't care if you're Georgia. I don't care if you're Georgia Tech. I don't care if you're George Strait. It's hard to go 9, 10, 11, 12 plays consistently and score touchdowns on drives like that. You got to have guys that can hit big plays. You look at Ladd McConkey. You look at Brock Bowers, some big plays guys that they had last year. Not saying they don't have them this year. You look at Dylan Bell. You look at Oscar Delp. You look at Dominic Lovett and some of these other guys. But they've got to show themselves. And what a better time to do it than at Alabama. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that right now. And there's some people that are going to clown Missouri for winning a tight game against Vandy. It's amazing, and I know it was at home, but it's amazing how people say, oh, well, Georgia just didn't play good at Kentucky, and it was a close game, and they just had to survive it. But Vanderbilt, we should think Missouri sucks because they barely beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's better than Kentucky. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. So I would keep that same energy a little bit with Georgia because I don't think we know yet from an explosive play standpoint.
Well, the good news is we'll get to find out soon because there's a little bit of a round robin that's going to happen with the top teams in the SEC, and they bracketed it out on television last night. Obviously, we know Georgia gets all of them, right? Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas all on the road, then host Tennessee at home. But then this week coming up, Alabama's going to host Georgia, and then like we said, Alabama's going to go to Tennessee. So all these teams are going to get a chance to play each other.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Seth Martin. Seth, what's up, brother? Tennessee defense looked good, yes, but Oklahoma did not have a competent offense. Yeah. They weren't executing anything. You could tell by the couple of weeks earlier watching them on the field.
Yeah, and this is the biggest worry, right? And again, this is even before we saw the struggles against Houston. And then you saw them kind of against Tulane, figure it out a little bit. But this was another level, right? It's just like playing a video game. It's just like playing Wukong. Eventually, you got to fight one of the bosses. Well, you got to see one of the bosses week 4 to really know kind of where you're at. And you can, on one hand, say that Oklahoma had some unforced errors. Like I said in the beginning, the throw, on the line of scrimmage, close to behind the line of scrimmage, whatever, that was a turnover. But then just don't know how you don't watch that game and say, all right, yes, Oklahoma can look dysfunctional on offense, but Tennessee caused a lot of that, and that Tennessee's really good on defense. You can just watch those guys run around, watch the way they get off the ball, the explosiveness of the front seven. Again, I know there was some concern for Tennessee fans about the back end, but the explosiveness of that front seven has taken so much pressure off of that back end. And it got to the point where you could look at Jackson Arnold and you knew that he knew that everyone knew they were in trouble on offense. So I want to make sure we give Tennessee credit first, but nobody was coming into this game thinking that Oklahoma was Cirque du Soleil or the Globetrotters on offense, but good teams and good defenses make inept offenses look even more inept. And that's what Tennessee did. You can't make jump shots. I still got to guard you.
Let's go to KJ. KJ, what's up, brother? It says, is trusting Nico similar to trusting Arch Manning at Texas for a national championship?
Man, I don't think so. I just think the trust factor is higher right now. And to Jake's point, too, I don't think Tennessee is going to go undefeated and win the national championship this year. Yes, I think they'll drop one of these games we're talking about. But that brings up something we don't often talk about in a season. How much does a team improve in specific players like a young quarterback in Nico? How much can they improve week to week, even if you suffer a loss? I hope that kid's better 5, 6, 7 weeks from now than he is today. Right? That's how you win.
Yeah, David, I don't know how he's not going to be, right? And again, I know we use just like playing multiple sports growing up is good. I like using analogies from multiple sports. I think, and it was a little bit like this against NC State. Now, the score was different, and that dictated how you're going to play it. Sometimes as a pitcher, you may not have your best stuff. Maybe your fastball is your best pitch, but you may not be able to locate it very well that day, and you got to win with your changeup or your slider or find another way to get guys out. Was Nico just on point all night, incredible, using his legs, doing this, doing that? No. But he realized, hey, I've got to win this game a different way by continuing to manage the game in the right way, and I've got to stop turning the ball over. So you're going to watch the evolution of a player just become older in front of your eyes very quickly because of the games and the environments that he is going to play in. So remember, we have this playoff at the end. By the time we get to the playoff, Nico's going to be an old head because he's going to have gone to Oklahoma. He's going to have played Alabama and played Georgia and been in all these environments, good, bad, and indifferent. So a lot of it is it's like watching a basketball team as well get better during the year and go through the ups and downs. And by the time they get to March, there's not a scenario they haven't been a part of. So if I'm a Tennessee fan, that's what was the thing we said at the beginning of the year, guys? Can Tennessee, while Cade Klubnik and this offense grows together, survive games where it's all not going good, where you're not scoring 40 points in the first quarter, where you're not able to go warp speed and just rip people apart? And guess what? They have. They did it against a bad NC State team. They did it against an Oklahoma team on the road in a huge environment and survived it. I'm just telling you, by the time we get to this playoff, Nico is going to be an old head because they're going to have Nico is seeing adjustments to him that he is not used to seeing because he hadn't played that much. So he's going to learn how to adjust to all this as it goes. That's what I think makes Tennessee the most dangerous to me.
Can we just acknowledge for 1 second the conversation we're even having? We're talking about whether we think Tennessee's young quarterback is good enough or not good enough for them to win a national championship. This Tennessee program, which has been down and out, and the fans have never quit on them. They've been ready for a Tennessee resurgence.
They deserve it.
That's the conversation we're having. Not, man, they're going to be – can they make a bowl game this year? Things are bad in Knoxville. If you're a Tennessee fan, just embrace it.
We never had this conversation with Hendon Hooker.
No,
and Hendon
I was
Hooker
thinking that last night.
An NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
You have this conversation now because the way your defense is built.
Thank you.
Same conversation
yes.
we have with Georgia. It's the same conversation we have with Alabama. Defense travels and defense wins you national championships.
Which Josh was brand new when Hendon was there, and the offense was going to be ahead of his defense early. That's just the way
it had to be, because they just didn't have the depth. They had to win like that. So it's Tennessee's going to be fun to watch. You're a Tennessee fan. I'm sure there was a lot of Jello shots that were bought last night. It's not even the College World Series. But let's move on, David, to a game I'm sure you were happy about the result. You said break out the bourbon. Michigan takes down USC. Blaine, got to give you your flowers.
Yeah.
You called this one. You called this one like a girlfriend in high school, buddy. But David, just your quick thoughts on the game as we go roundtable.
I really think since Blaine picked him, you go ahead. You tell us what you thought first, man. You picked.
I love it.
Well, this is the thing. I said this the entire week. I don't think we didn't knew as much as we thought we did after USC played LSU. It's a different brand of football, what LSU played. We got told the entire offseason that LSU's offensive line from the run game standpoint is just going to push people around. And I don't think we've seen that yet. But I do know one team, okay, that will push you around in the run game, and that's the Michigan Wolverines. And trust me, a lot of factors had to go into this for Michigan to win this game. The first thing is turnovers, right? It's turnovers, and it's a huge deal. The first half Michigan team to the second half Michigan team, it's completely different to me. And the thing about it, you point out, is this: as bad as you played in that second half, you found a way to win the football game. That says a lot about the players, the culture, and what Sharon Moore's got going over there. And I think you found your quarterback. I think you found your identity and who you are. We're going to run the football 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards until we can break big plays. And you saw that. You saw it's going to be a title fight, guys. It's going to be a 9-round fight. How many body blows can you take? And USC couldn't take enough. And that defense, okay, you run the ball and don't turn it over, and you let that defense go play, right? And that's the result you get in most of these games. So that's what I saw. I called it a trap game all week. You're in Ann Arbor, new quarterback. These guys are excited. So all the ingredients added up to a win there.
Well, it was the true definition of a tale of two different halves. That first half of Michigan football was what we thought preseason. If we got that from Michigan, it's not crazy for them to be a college football playoff contender. Maybe not a national champion if you can't throw the ball any better than that, but certainly you can win 9 games, 10 games in Sharon Moore's first year, despite Jim Harbaugh going back to the NFL. Now, far from perfect, right? But they were controlling the line of scrimmage. They were controlling field position. They were suffocating on defense, especially in the red zone. And then the second half rolls around and you go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 1 play fumble. You got a pick 6 to help you out, but then miss the PAT. And then on defense, you give up touchdowns on 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 16. The same things we've been talking about. Can't get off the field on defense in zone coverage. All right. And then when you needed it most, a 90-yard drive when you throw the football one time, Kalel Mullings just saved him, absolutely saved him. 4th down, off tackle, ISO. Like, that's a gutsy performance. That's a gutsy win from a football team that may not be a great team, may not make the college football playoff. But, man, you have to give them their flowers and say when they needed it most, they got the football in the right players' hands without Colston Loveland and without Will Johnson after that pick 6. He went off the field. Without 2 of your best players, you found a way to win. What more can you say about a football team?
You know, I think there's a freedom to being who you really are. You know, it's one thing when you're in middle school and high school and your parents go buy you clothes that you don't like because they think they, you know, make you look preppy and like everybody else, but you just want to wear your old jeans. You just want to wear your old shirt. You want to be yourself. That's what it looked like to me from Michigan yesterday. It looked like they finally were like, you know what? We're not going to be able to throw it around. We're not going to be this sexy offense that makes super explosive plays. Here's who we are. We're Alex Orji at quarterback. We're going to throw 12 passes and not get 32 yards. But what we are going to do is give it to Kalel Mullings, who should have been on the cover of the NCAA video game 17 times for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. We're going to give it to Donovan Edwards, who was on the cover of the NCAA video game 14 times for 74 yards and a touchdown. We're going to let Orgy run at 13. God, they had 3 guys that had over 13 carries. Okay, yeah. This is who you are. I said earlier in the week, Sharon Moore made the decision. He went back and he looked at the film and he said, you know what? We can't throw it. And if we're not going to be able to throw it to our team, we're damn sure not going to throw it to the other team. So, Alex, get your ass in the backfield. We're going to throw now screens and swings and maybe a couple of digs. And what did they do? I think when also they looked at the tape on USC and LSU, another thing we talked about all week, and we knew they were going to do it, was that Miller Moss will take chances. Yeah. It gives you the highest of highs, including that incredible hole shot against cover 2 he threw to take the lead. I don't think people realize how good of a throw that was. Michigan was baiting him to do it. Not only did he do it, he completed it. All right, against a really good defense. But those chances he got away with against LSU. Couple fumbles, right? Couple balls he put into traffic that didn't get picked. Well, what happened? Will eventually got you. He got you on one of them. So you got to live with the sword. You got to die with the sword, pun intended, if you're USC. And I don't think USC's defense is bad. I think Michigan was a battering ram, and eventually they popped at the end. That game early the first half went exactly like Michigan had to have it go. USC's offense was in hell. Miller Moss could not get the ball off. I would love to see the blitz percentage of Wink Martindale, David, because I don't think it was as high, but the one time he did it, USC scored a touchdown. Yeah, so it just that looked like what I thought Michigan, the plan was going to be with Orgy at quarterback when we heard he was going to be the guy at fall camp, when we saw him try and throw the ball in the first game. So, look, is Michigan a national championship winning team? I don't think so. But if they're going to be able to play like that, and have people have to start adopting what they do. And I know the second half was higher scoring. They're going to have a chance, but there is a freedom in being yourself. Like Drake said, you know it's real when you are who you thought you were.
Well, a couple things to forecast for both teams. One for USC, I don't believe they're fraudulent. I still think that's a really good football team who played a great game. I think they're going to be better than a lot of people had in preseason. I still think they're going to be a problem in the Big Ten moving forward. I don't think this is some West Coast LA team who can't compete in this conference or anything just because they went to Ann Arbor and couldn't play bully ball yesterday. For Michigan moving forward, get ready for this every week. Like, if you're going to win games, you're going to have to win them 27-24. If you can't throw the football downfield any better than that, you're not going to be blowing teams out, and that's fine. Like, look, take wins however you can get them. One thing, though, that when Michigan was their best these last 3 seasons, if one half was glaringly better than the other half, when was it? It was always the second half, because Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter and those guys would come in and make halftime adjustments so well they'd play the second half better. So if you go back and you look at the tape of this game, you're like, finally, we put together our best half of football all season in the first half and then sort of fell apart in the second half until that final drive. That's something you're going to have to get figured out, because you want to be playing the best ball when you make your adjustments.
Yep. All right, Blaine, let's get to the chat.
All right, let's go to Crane & Co. memes. What's up, brother? How did both Desmond and Howard and Cone pick USC?
They should thank us.
Cone, I'm disappointed.
Why? They should thank us. I wasn't going to be the jinx. Did you see Kirk Herbstreit went over there and checked Desmond's temperature after he picked USC? I've never seen that.
I didn't see it.
All right, let's go to Brady J. He says, how bad of a look is this for Lincoln Riley losing to a team with only 32 passing yards?
Yeah.
Well, again, I don't think it's that bad of a look. I mean, when you go up and lose to Michigan in the Big House on 4th down and goal, like with 35 seconds, I mean, it's not like they went up there and got beat down. It would have been a bad look if they went up there and it was like, oh no, that defense really is fraudulent. I don't think the defense is fraudulent. Is it as good maybe as we thought after the LSU game? No, but I still think it's better than what Lincoln Riley has had. I mean, if you're going to make a complaint, I think the lack of protection up front, which one of the things Lincoln Riley does best in that run game, he gives you a lot of gap scheme runs, and then the play action off the gap scheme runs slows down the defense. But they got into a lot of third and passing early, and Michigan was able to pin their ears back and go get Miller Moss. I mean, he ended up 28-51. That's not good enough from a completion percentage to beat a team like Michigan. And yet you still had a chance to stop them at the end and win the game. So if you're a USC fan, yeah, you're disappointed in the loss. But there's a huge difference in between being a USC fan and losing a game like that and being an Auburn fan and losing a game like they did, or being an NC State fan and losing a game like they did. USC's going to have a chance in some of these big games they're playing down the stretch. So I wouldn't say it's a bad look.
If you take away the pick six, they win that game.
Yeah. I mean, it was a tight game in a tough environment.
If you're a Miami fan, please shut up. I picked you win by 40 points, so obviously y'all have no idea what you're talking about. Let's go.
How did you feel about that? Because they went 28-0 in the second half, right?
Yeah, killed them. Exactly what I thought would happen.
You had Miami.
Yeah, Miami minus 16.5. Whatever Miami fans in the chat saying that all of us picked USF to win. I don't know what world you're living in, but I said y'all were one of the best bets on the board. So just if you don't watch the show, then shut up.
Yeah, I literally tweeted out. Blaine asked if a team outside of the SEC or Big Ten can win a national championship. I retweeted Miami. Listen, don't screw it up by showing that you're a dumbass. Yeah. Watch what we say, you
I've got y'all 11-1. I've got y'all 11-1.
Blaine put like $1,000. Blaine put like $1,000 on you guys minus 16.5 and Tennessee minus 6.5 yesterday.
You hit the $1,000 bet on them?
I had a $2,800 two-leg parlay on Miami minus 13.5 and Tennessee minus 6.5. And I said Miami was one of the
picked USF.
What a hit.
I don't know. Like, I literally have no idea. I don't think anybody on the show picked USF to win this football game. So obviously they have no clue.
What in God's name are you?
Let's go to a $5 donation from Justin. Justin, thank you, brother. Was at the USC-Michigan game, and I'm still shocked that USC did not look at the line, daring Alex Orji to throw the ball. What do y'all think?
Well, they kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, they tried. Look, Michigan was getting in heavy personnel. I mean, it was like, even with Colson Loveland out, it wasn't like they were just getting in empty and running quarterback draw, or just getting in 10 personnel and running doubles the whole time. No, I thought it was big on big, man. That's the way it looked to me. I mean, that was not for the faint of heart. Now, that's not to say that Michigan just ran in the B gap the whole game. Obviously, that they worked laterally in some of the zone runs as well. But I mean, I thought it was a fair fight numbers wise. I didn't think it was leaning either way.
Two more things for Michigan's run game for you guys. I've been telling y'all for weeks, Kalel Mullings needs to be the primary back. Maybe not the starter because, Donovan Edwards has earned that. You let him run out there on the field first. And he had a big-time run, too. Like, we needed everything that he delivered. But when the game was on the line, who'd they put the football in the hands?
They went to Mullings.
Kalel Mullings. And one other thing with Alex Orji, I'm a little surprised they're not using more zone read with him. You saw when he ran, especially around the ends, it was, Q power, Q sweep, that kind of stuff. Or it was straight handoff on that final drive. I'm surprised he's not reading the defensive end to pull that ball a little more.
Yeah, or at least, making it look like you're reading him so you can be a decoy and hold him on the backside, which you get kind of the same effect and value at the end of the day. But all right, let's move on right here. Do y'all want to go Utah, Oklahoma State quickly in a game that was not pretty, but was won by the team we predicted to? Who picked USF? This is bothering me. I didn't even think Clay picked USF.
No one picked USF.
Well, we didn't.
Hey, if you're moderating the chat, Justin, if you're moderating the chat, get that 692 Canes guy out of here. We don't want clowns in this chat.
Yeah, get the simple ones out.
How are there possibly Miami fans in here talking trash? Don't we all have them winning the conference?
I've got Miami not only winning the conference, but winning the conference. And obviously getting the bye in the playoff.
I have Miami losing one game, and it's against Louisville.
Get his dumb ass out of here. I'm not dealing with on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Today's about the Lord,
hey, your mom's gonna bring your pizza rolls down soon. Okay, so just sit up there and keep picking your nose and thinking about what a woman looks like naked.
Adios, kid. What game we going to next?
Let's go to Utah, Oklahoma State.
When did they decide Cam Rising wasn't playing?
I don't know, but it's kind of making me mad. I know that Kyle Whittingham's trying to gain an advantage and all that, but we watched this all season last week. Oh, next week might be the week. At some point, you have to let people know if your quarterback's playing or not, right?
Well, I mean, look, if I'm Whittingham, again, from my perspective, because I'm betting on the game, yes, I want to know that. From a opponent's perspective, yes, I want to know that. But if I'm Kyle Whittingham, he's playing it perfect. Like there's a reason that line moved, right? We talked about it. Like, all right, there's only one way a line can move that much, and it's because of Cam Rising. And it's just to the point now where it's like, I mean, how how much do I put into Utah, right? I got Utah winning the Big 12. Like, how do I feel about that right now? If last year you act like Cam Rising was going to come in at any moment, doesn't play the whole year, and then we find out they basically had to remake his 3D print a new knee for him. And then this year, like, he does something. I'm worried about what's wrong with his hand. Like, did it get chopped off in like a duel against Orlando Bloom? But I mean, Isaac Wilson comes in. It wasn't pretty. 17 to 29, 207 and a touchdown and 2 picks. But they win the game. This is what Utah does, man.
Yeah.
This is what they do. And this is why we picked them to win, regardless, because being physical at the line of scrimmage is like rebounding in basketball. It travels, right? It may be simple, like 6'2", Kane, right? But it travels, and it is the essence of the game, and that's why Utah wins. I don't care if it's the Big 12, the Pac-12, the amazing 12 or whatever. It's fun to watch them play because they know what the game's really about. I mean, Bernard went for 182 on 25 carries, so they understood the assignment.
Well, I'll say this first before I get too critical. Utah still went on the road to Oklahoma State, won in Stillwater, gutsy football game. Congratulations on the win. I get it. You don't play Cam Rising against Utah State, even if there's a chance that his hand is a bit injured or is going to get worse. This is the biggest threat on your schedule. We talked about it all offseason. So if Cam Rising isn't going to play in this game, I really can't trust him to play moving forward. Just like last year, at some point it becomes a boy who cried wolf situation, which, look, if you're Utah right now, you got by what I think is going to be the biggest challenge. And what can we just all be honest, and what's kind of a disappointing conference right now. I didn't think that the Big 12 was going to get 2 teams in the college football playoff preseason, but I thought they had a better chance than the ACC did. Now, I don't think there's any shot, and especially with what Kansas State did. I mean, Clemson, we got to talk about Clemson at some point too, because they're kind of working their way back into that conversation on if Notre Dame's not going to make it as an independent and the Big 12 is not going to get a second team in, can the ACC be the conference that gets multiple teams in past the first round, the first round bye team and conference champ? But hey, congratulations on a win. It was ugly. It was one of the ugliest top 14 matchups I've seen in my life.
Dude, hey, Blaine, Ollie Gordon had 11 carries for 42 yards. Alan Bowman went 16 out of 33, right? Which is not good. For 206, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. Then Garrett Rangel came in and went 3 of 11 for 31 yards. Oklahoma State has been scoring points because they've been able to throw the ball when teams have stacked the box. Utah didn't really stack the box. And they're like, all right, Alan Bowman, fraudulent. Exactly what we talked about during the week, and it worked out that way, and that's what we've seen from Oklahoma State.
I go back to last year's team, even when they made the championship. I just, like, from a defensive standpoint, I thought they were fraudulent. I was never impressed with the Oklahoma State. And the one thing I will know, and one thing I will forever know, if Kyle Whittingham is coaching that football team, I don't care if it's in Utah, it's in Saturn, wherever the hell you want to put them, maybe at a Sandals resort. I don't care. I know that they're going to be able to run the football and stop the run, okay? From a physicality standpoint, from an alignment standpoint, and from a culture standpoint, doesn't matter who's at quarterback at Utah, Kyle Whittingham knows what he wants to do. Utah knows who they are. And look, Oklahoma State doesn't. They don't. You bring back one of the best running backs in the nation, and he's doing nothing. He's doing absolutely, whether you stack the box or not. Okay, if you have a talent like that, he should be able to at least break a couple free and have a couple go his way. That's how just football works. But look, right now I still have Utah winning the Big 10, the Big 12, excuse me, and I think they're good enough to do that. The Cam Rising story, I'm to the point where I'm over it. He's 46 years old, okay? Like, either you give him his AARP card, all right, or you put him on the football field. If it's hand, foot, I don't care. It's just, can I at least get notice on a Thursday or a Friday? You're going to tell him 20 minutes before the game? 20 minutes? 20 minutes?
How about the combined completed passes between Isaac Wilson and Alan Bowman was only 8 years older than it would be 8 years older than Alan Bowman is, and 9 years older than Cam Rising. Just think about that.
Does there need to be a cutoff limit for a Heisman, like the age?
The age?
Like, no, Chris Winkie won one at 28 years old.
The Oldsman Award.
Chris Winkie already broke that thing down.
Yeah, the Oldsman. One guy, give the young guys the Heisman, give them the Oldsman. It's like, this journeyman whatever. Now he's a kicker at Navy. He's 48. All right, let's get to the chat.
Speaking about Navy, Navy beating Memphis. Memphis beat Florida State to be the G5 leader, and then Navy.
Bro, you talk about a hangover. Memphis loses to Navy after beating Florida State, and Northern Illinois lost to Buffalo after beating Notre Dame. And Buffalo's not a good football team. So
I just want to say this quickly because I saw this here. Memphis rushed for 274 yards and threw for 385 and lost 56-44.
It'll make you want to puke. Hey, you want to talk about what about Mac Brown right now? You think that was bad? You gave up a 70 piece to the guy that signed the Declaration of Independence.
Ooh, to one guy, James Madison.
Look, you
got to push him down the river. I'm sorry, it's time.
Talking about Mac River?
Mac River. Look, we love you,
Mac Brown. Light the torches. Everybody walk on the beach.
We love you. It's your career has been great. Hall of Fame coach. We all know this, but hey, let's go down to the resort down there. That's what they call it, the resort. Let's go down the resort, 15 minutes down the road. All right, it's only going to cost about $800 a month.
New Horizons.
Yeah, let's go to New Horizons, Matt.
That sounds lovely.
Mom, Oreo milkshake.
Now. You gave up. You know how hard it is to give up 70.
And our boy Jeff Collins is the DC over there, but North Carolina's offense did a lot of that damage. Let's be honest.
Hell no, David.
Hell
no, they didn't.
Interception.
No, they didn't.
I'm watching James Madison pick the ball off and just glide down the sideline.
I'm watching James Madison just say hike on offense. Hike.
Oh man, I had James Madison plus 20.5 in a parlay, and they won by 20.
That was my dog. That was one of my dogs this week.
Good. And North Carolina fans, on a serious note, something has to happen.
It's like something has to move. Brown, it's like boy in Breaking Bad with the bell. He's like,
even that. It's like the guy from South Park, Stansted. I hear no bell.
What about the other team in North Carolina, NC State? Because Clemson just walking them from start to finish.
Look, I will say this: if we're going to say any positive about this game, I thought that quarterback for NC State is going to be a problem.
The CJ Bailey kid.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a problem.
He can do some things. He's only 18. This is why. And again, look, NC State. They've really let a lot of people down. I know some guys that had them in their playoff before the season, but this is why I didn't want to bury Clemson after the Georgia game. Right? Because it's going to take time for these young guys on the outside that they're excited about to get the right type of experience, right? Whether it's TJ Moore, right? You look at some of these guys. I mean, obviously Antonio Williams isn't a young guy, but Wesco, they need time to figure it out. And Georgia in your first game is not a great time to do that, right? So I think I'm interested to see Clemson at the end of the year. Klubnik looked really good running the ball. I think he's got some sneaky fastness to him. But look, Clemson hammered him. It was ugly early. I mean, you're up 45-7 at halftime, and then you just cruise until the fourth quarter where you give up a couple touchdowns to make it look more respectable. I mean, this game could have been like 66-14 if they really kept doing it. But if you're a Clemson fan, and we're talking about that second ACC team, right, that can get into the playoff, when you look at that schedule, or somebody that, when they do play Miami, who's got the best chance, to actually knock them off. Clemson, I don't know how you look at that league right now and not say it's Clemson.
Yeah, and Clemson's not going to play Miami.
You think it's Clemson? You really think it's Clemson after Miami? You think Clemson, Miami? You think Clemson's a better team?
Well, maybe Louisville. They
hold
play.
Hold on. Who said better team?
I thought you said Clemson. It's their conference to lose, right?
No. I said if anybody has a chance to maybe knock off Miami.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna throw Louisville in here too, because Louisville got a nice win yesterday. But
Louisville on the points, baby.
I just think Clemson's defense maybe has a chance to slow down the absolute magic show that's going on between Cam Ward. He does.
He looks bored.
He looks
like
bored.
I watch it. They score 50, and he just looks like he's not having fun.
Well, you'll get your chance, buddy. You'll get your chance.
It's just, dude, him and Restrepo. It's like I'm watching the movie Frequency with like Dennis Quaid and like his son. They just weird. They
remember, y'all. Clemson and Miami don't play in the regular season. And Clemson gets to host Louisville. So that could be your ACC championship game right there.
Hey, speaking about ACC quickly,
Yeah,
you looked pretty good yesterday.
Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, Sonny Dykes got thrown out of the football game.
I love it. I love it, Sonny.
I love it. I didn't got thrown out at least 3
refereeing is garbage in college football.
Well, roughing the passer's out of control.
Garbage. It's almost impossible to watch games anymore. Teams are getting 13 penalties a half.
Yeah, well, like the roughing the passer call against Missouri yesterday in the Vandy game, I really feel like that official should be jailed. Like you should have to serve a month. Like it was that bad. It was that bad. Or I need to see your apps on
Darby
your phone.
Lou wanted to bet Vanderbilt plus 18, and I talked her out of it. I'll never hear the end of it. I never will.
I mean,
but on the SMU point, so what now? What now? Like, is SMU, did it just take a while to get going, or is TCU, is just the whole Big 12, or was it just the commercial? Should you have not made the commercial? That's why I said
the commercial helped.
I wanted to remove that from my locks the second I saw that.
I don't think the commercial helped. By the way, my locks yesterday, Colorado money line was one of them.
Look at that. I told her, I said Hail Mary at the end to win.
Yeah. So look, when it comes to SMU, I looked at the camera and said, use what I'm about to say to motivate you. And then I just tried to say things that would upset them. Now, probably didn't watch it. That's okay. But if they can keep playing like that, it may be the redemption story of a lifetime at the end of the year. Let's just put it that y'all will be miserable. Let's just put it that way. I will be consolable in the best way possible. But all right, let's get to the chat. Then we got to talk about this Auburn game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. All right, let's go to the H-Man. What is up? He says, "Don't act like you guys had Louisville back when you called GA Tech to win last week. We keep receipts."
David, you picked Louisville.
I picked Louisville. I picked Louisville,
and I picked. Wait.
I picked Louisville with the points, guys.
Yes,
I even said y'all were going to cover 10.5.
I think I picked Georgia. I think I picked Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I picked Louisville to win the game and Georgia Tech to cover. Didn't both those things happen?
Right.
No,
what are you guys?
Georgia Tech didn't cover.
About?
They didn't cover 10.5.
No, I don't think so.
They lost. No, I think they lost by 11-12.
Oh god. Okay,
yeah,
well
it was tied at the end.
Oh, it was 31-19.
Be specific. Stop saying y'all. Like I don't get it. I
like Louisville a lot, man. Like
Louisville, Notre Dame.
Shuck threw a couple balls where I'm like, they're so much better at the quarterback position, and I don't think they've had fall off on the defensive side. And
those were the two. Well, the main question was, can Shuck stay healthy? Like, we knew if he stayed healthy, he was a better player overall than Plummer was at the quarterback position. But that was question A, and the question B was, can Jeff Brom have another defense like what really catapulted them last year? And another guy that we mentioned during the week that is just playing at an extremely high level is Ja'Cory Brooks, the Alabama transfer at wide receiver. Dude.
Yeah, he's looking.
Oh, boy, can just – you remember, he's the guy who caught that touchdown pass from Bryce Young to beat Auburn late in that game in the corner of the end zone. One of the many times that Auburn's just choked to death here in the last 3 years, but we're going to get to that. So, David, you picked Louisville.
They're probably going to need to run the ball a little better, if they really want to win college football playoff games, though.
Which they got the backfield to do it. I mean, they're 3-4 deep back there. They got a freshman I really like, the Isaac kid that can run. But, David, you picked Louisville, but Georgia Tech to cover. Blaine picked Louisville to win and cover. And I picked Georgia Tech to pull the upset. So, again, guys, come on now. Like, be specific. If you're going, if I'm going to insult you, I don't know who your wife is. I'm not going to bring her into it too.
It's Notre Dame. It's at Notre Dame next week, right?
Yeah, it's at Notre Dame next week. Right now, the line I saw was plus 3.5 Louisville.
Really?
Plus 3.5 Louisville?
Correct.
Well,
I'll take that right this second.
Well, Notre Dame's just glad to not be playing a team from the MAC. All right, let's go one more to the chat, then we'll move.
Let's go to a $10 donation from Craig. Thanks, Craig. Hey, boys, the race for the G5 spot is in the college football has been blown wide open. It may run It may run through the Mountain West, and it starts with a premier Mountain West tilt between my Bulldogs and UNLV this Saturday. Go Dogs.
Well, look, I don't think now that Memphis lost, it's Liberty and UNLV to me, right? Liberty goes undefeated, they're in it. Like they're gonna.
They were in a fight last night too.
They were. Did they end up pulling that one out?
They ended up beating East Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, and East Carolina got the corner they have. It's top 3 player in this position going into the league towards ACL this week or last week. Hated
$5
to see that
donation
for them.
From Rudy 9 Irish. Appreciate it. Rudy said, Lars here. It's up, Lars. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Love the show. Appreciate it, man. Should Notre Dame go to a 2-quarterback system?
No, I don't think so. It's been ugly, man. I mean, you guys are one-trick pony. I mean, it's Riley Leonard running the ball, and which is kind of weird because this was the first year we thought, hey, well, Notre Dame's going to be better on the outside than they've been. The question is on the line of scrimmage, especially when Jagazah went down before the year. But it's ugly, but I don't think the answer is a 2-quarterback system. I know Riley Leonard can throw it. It's just something's not the math isn't adding up, and that's weird with Mike Denbrock. Like nobody's been better with quarterbacks and developing throughout a season or through a season than Denbrock has.
Let's go to Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico, what's up? He says, how about them BYU boys last night? Not only won, but put a whooping on them.
This is
now they could talk trash to us because I definitely pick Kansas State.
For sure. Yeah. BYU fans, please. Like that's one where I think nobody thought, and again, I don't think anybody outside of Kalani Sitake and BYU fans thought that this was going to be the case, especially, that game against SMU was so ugly. You're like, oh, it's 2 bad teams. And then you look at them put 66 up on TCU. Look, college football is crazy, man. That's why it's the greatest sport there is. But
well, one second. BYU's now 4-0, guys. Now they go on the road to play a Baylor team that Colorado just threw a Hail Mary to beat. Then they're going to play Arizona. Arizona didn't look great when they played Kansas State. So I don't know. Like, what's the ceiling now for BYU?
Well, I mean, how healthy is Cam Rising? I mean, if I'm BYU, that's what I'm starting to look at. Like it's once you get to 4-0, and again, like it's really once you get to 6. But you're sort of like, all right, let's really kind of look at the lay of the land because we have so much information about, who we have on the back half of our schedule, where we're at in the conference because you've played some conference games by now. And guys, don't forget, Kansas State is still winless in conference because that game against Arizona did not count as far as the Big 12. So when you're looking at who has a chance at the end here, if you're BYU, you're able to get a couple more in your back pocket, then you got to have a real conversation about it.
Yeah. So what about Auburn and Arkansas? Let's hear it.
All right. To me, it's really not that complex. You knew Auburn wasn't going to have the best players overall, right? Because it does take time, even with the transfer portal, to build this. Build it the right way, at least. But you can't have below average personnel overall and coach below average as well. At this point, and again, I don't think Hugh Freeze should be fired. I think he's going to find a way at the end of the day. But you got to call it like you see it. Auburn is a poorly coached team. You can't be slow and stupid. You can't be unathletic and dumb. You got to pick one. Auburn is both. And look, guys make physical mistakes. There's going to be holdings. There's going to be face masks. You can't rough the passer when you know you're not very good on defense and it's going to be a defensive fist fight and you extend the drive and give it up. How in God's name is DJ Durkin rushing 3 after, number one, what happened to Auburn last year on 4th and goal from the 31 when you did it? But then you see how bad Auburn is in coverage. Not only that, it's one thing if you rush 3 and everybody's back and they throw an underneath pass and the guy makes 3 guys miss and go scores. That's one thing. You got beat deep with 8 guys in coverage. That's on the coaches. If your guy in the sky isn't smart enough to realize there's half the citizens of Lee County are in coverage right now and I'm the guy in the furthest back, I can't get beat deep, you're stupid. Auburn ran into the punter one time on 4th and 4, and they didn't call it. So your quarterbacks, you continue to turn the ball over. You may lead the country in turnovers, right? Regardless of who plays quarterback. You fumble at the most opportune times. The fact that Auburn didn't go get a quarterback in the transfer portal, I don't care if he was in a wheelchair compared to what you got. I don't care if it was Kenny Kawaguchi from Backyard Football and he had to roll his ass out there. It would be better than what Auburn has right now. They're poorly coached. They choke in the biggest moments. There's a culture at Auburn in the football program of choking at the biggest moments. Nobody chokes more in the big moments than Auburn football has the past 3 or 4 years. I can go back and list all of it. Sometimes at the end of the day, you have guys that can do it and guys that lose it. Auburn has a bunch of guys that lose it. And I don't know how you fix that. And we can sit here and say, oh, well, we don't judge ourselves on performance. Maybe that's the damn problem. Maybe that's the problem. Y'all are too worried about making each other happy instead of going out there and winning the football game. You want a kumbaya? Do it at the reunion 10 years from now or 5 years from now. You don't get paid millions of dollars to run a daycare. I'm sick of looking at it. Be unathletic or poorly coached. Be stupid or slow. You can't be both of them. And right now, Auburn is all of them. All of them, and you don't deserve to win. And they're probably going to lose to Oklahoma. They'll make that backup quarterback that came in for Oklahoma look like the next coming of Moses, right, when he walks on the field. So, I still think Hugh Freeze can fix it. I still think he was the right guy to get it. But you got Bo Wallace coming out here saying crazy stuff, which I got no idea about that situation, so I'm not even going to pretend to know what's going on. But I do know what's going on in the field. You're poorly coached, and you have bad players overall. And you can't survive in this league, in this sport like that. You just can't. So you get mad about it. You can cry about it. You can write a letter to your city councilman about it. But huddle up. We suck.
Hey, I know
that. Were there any positives?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to point out. I'm going to go too positive real quick. But a great win for Arkansas, a huge win for Sam Pittman.
Yes.
He definitely needed that. I thought Taylor Green got hurt early in the game. He took a shot to the head, which I was worried about.
He's got to stop jumping, Blaine.
A little bit. Yeah, and he'll learn that. I think he'll learn that. I thought Kendrick Lambert-Smith for Auburn is a good player.
Really good.
I think he's a guy you can trust, especially on third downs. And I thought the defense from a physicality standpoint played really well. Yeah. I thought they were a physical defense. It's just, what hurts the most is, especially to me, I've been not even before Auburn played a football game. I've been saying you have to go get somebody out of the portal. You just have to do it, right? And it's not like the Cam Wards or all these phenomenal top tier guys. If you look at the middle class in the portal, they're pretty damn good, right? And there's some talented players in there. When I say you bring a portal guy in here and you win 9-10 games, no. But the thing about the quarterback position, if everyone around him, all right, everyone around the quarterback, especially the offense or the defense, sees we're bad there, it's really tough to get up for games.
Yeah.
It really is. But if you have a guy there who at least pushes other guys to play better, enhances their skill set, and then you see a team start to go together. On the Hugh Freeze part, one, there's nobody else to blame for not getting a quarterback except Hugh Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is Hugh Freeze's fault. You
hit your wagon to Peyton Thorne.
You backed your guy and Peyton Thorne. And look, and this is what happens. Trust me, Brian Harsin backed TJ Finley, and he's somewhere not coaching football right now.
He's lifting weights and talking about accountability.
Yeah, and what's another thing that hurts is you keep making the same mistakes. Mm-hmm. We're not learning from our mistakes. I'm not seeing progression from Saturday to Saturday. I don't know who needs to get in DJ Durkin's ear, but you got to stop bringing 3 people on third down. We're not smart enough in the back end to bring 3 people on third down. Keontae Scott has done the same thing 2 weeks in a row, playing center fielder and dropping 8-man coverage and coming up. That can't happen. That's on him. That's on the coaching. That is coaching football. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't want to say this. I know it's his second year, but losses start to add up, and people talk. Trust me. Ask Billy Napier. You go look at that Auburn schedule. Auburn might win 3 football games this year. And if Auburn only wins 3 football games this year, you're fired.
If Auburn goes 3-9, and again, I don't think it'd be the right move. If Auburn goes 3-9, I still blame. I don't think they would fire him. I don't think so. But you would have to make such a big jump the next year. And the saddest part is because you didn't go get a guy out of the portal. Now in this third year, you can't miss at quarterback or you are fired.
Yeah.
Like regardless of how much I like you or what you've done in the past. And that's been the saddest part. Hugh Freeze, and again, it's not me saying it, it's the numbers saying it. One of his best attributes has been what he's been able to do at quarterback. And you can blame the quarterback. You can say, we got to find a guy that can throw it to open guys. How did you think Peyton Thorne was the guy to throw it to open guys then? It's one of two things. Either one, you didn't think you needed to go to the portal because you thought Peyton Thorne was good enough. All right. Or number two is that you didn't think anybody that was in the portal or you weren't able to go convince a quarterback that was worth his salt to come here. I think Diego Pavia would have came here over Vanderbilt. I think Jordan McLeod would have came here over Texas State. Anything would be better than what you put out right there. And I don't know which is worse. So you can sit here and blame the player, and it is. Like Damari Austin's got to hold on the ball. I'm sick of watching these guys go on Instagram and act like there's something they're not. Make a play during the game. Hank Brown goes on social media and says, I can't wait to dominate Arkansas, and then goes out there and is god-awful. God-awful. So it's just, I don't know. Is it?
It's Hugh's fault. At the end of the day, you're the head coach. You're the head coach, David. And I know you want to talk. You're the head coach of a football team. Okay.
Yeah.
The buck stops with you, buddy. It starts with you and it stops with you. The product that you put on the field, that is your job. All right. And it is performance based. I don't know what world you live in. But football is
we don't judge ourselves based on performance. So wait a minute. What an amazing gig. You can get paid millions of dollars to go out there and look like shit. The players can get paid NIL money to go out there and play bad. What an amazing concept. Everybody did that. Oh, yeah, you can be – the accountant doesn't know math, but I tell you what, they're in there together staring at each other.
What do you think,
saying
Dave?
Good things.
Well,
Go ahead,
the
David.
personnel is a short-term problem, right? Especially the way that Hugh Freeze has been recruiting. He's going to get new players in. We're 4 weeks into year 2. The personnel is going to change. I'm looking at things like you committed more penalties than Arkansas when you're at home. Like, how's that happening? Yeah. 5 turnovers. I watched them, and I agree with you, Blaine. The defense played much better. I thought this was going to be an offensive explosion on both sides. Whether or not that turned into points depended on the turnovers. Well, the defense did play better, but even with Peyton Thorne and some of the same personnel, I watched you be much more competitive a year ago. I saw you beating Georgia for 3 quarters. Mm-hmm. I saw you beating Alabama last year with these same guys for 4 quarters minus 1 play on 4th and 31. So that's my thing, is like, how are some of these areas not getting a little bit better, even if you don't have the best players on the field, right?
Auburn's regressing.
What was the Bo Wallace situation? What would you say about that?
Bo Wallace came out. Well, Bo Wallace, played quarterback for Hugh and beat Alabama and had a bunch of nice things to say about him on social media. And then last night, after Hugh's press conference, it's like, oh, you're going to throw more quarterbacks under the bus. There's a reason that, none of your quarterbacks like you and all that. Just, people ask me about it. I've got no idea about that situation. Not at all. I have no intent, and I really don't want to know. I don't care. Stop throwing the ball to the other team. How about that? How about
Hank Brown's 13 years old, guys. Like, we're throwing true freshmen. Like, and this is another thing I don't understand. Whatever the white kid's name was, it Walter White or whatever his name is. Walker White. Everyone's like, oh, next year. Buddy, next year you might not be coaching this football team.
Yeah.
Okay? So if it's me and all the hype and the hoopla I've heard about this kid, I don't care about a red shirt anymore. You have to get on the field and show me something.
Yeah, because I've got to have a job.
We don't have a guy at quarterback with a pulse right now.
No.
With the pulse. And you might have brought him here, whatever it is. But if you want to see him play, buddy, you better put him in.
Yeah. It's just, God, it's bad. It's just bad, man. It's just bad. You can't be both. Pick one. Be defunct in personnel or be poorly coached. Can't be both.
Or just be really, really good in one area. If you're like, man, we're really good on the offensive line. We're really good in the front seven. You know?
No, it's to the point now where like, look, let's turn into Michigan.
That's what I said.
Let's turn it. We had the kid from Cal last year. Yeah. Okay. Just put him back there and let's just run around for 60 minutes. Yeah. Let's just run around. And that's a lot better than giving the other ball.
Yeah. The football team. All right. Let's go to the chat.
All right. Let's go to 984. I'm roll through these donations. $5 donation. Colorado Buff, Shedeur Sanders, and Travis are the GOATs. How do you not have Travis Hunter in your Heisman finalist?
Oh, dude, he's got to be. I mean, and again, it's everything. We can talk about the catches, but he was the one who forced that ball out at the goal line last night. Like, you talk about football player. Say what you want, about the way Colorado goes about their stuff. Okay, and there's some stuff I don't like off the field. But these guys, even Shedeur, Shedeur made some plays last night. He's an NFL player. But, Travis Hunter, I don't know how you can't like the way that guy plays. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about a guy that deserves a 99 overall rating in NCAA in the football video game. There has never been a guy that deserved it more than that. He's
Shohei Ohtani. He's Shohei Ohtani.
He's Shohei Ohtani.
Is he going to play wide receiver at the next level?
I think so.
Blaine?
Who?
Is Travis going to play wide receiver at the next level?
Nah, he needs to play DB.
You think so?
They're going to put
he needs to play DB. I think he's too light to play. I think he get beat up more playing receiver.
Get beat up more playing receiver than DB.
They don't pay them boys to tackle a DB. Don't cover. Don't cover, dog.
Hey, what's funny enough on the hit that Jake is talking about at the goal line, he was coming down from the safety position. He wasn't even
be surprised. Look, you can play him wherever you wanna. I think he's best at DB though.
Gotcha.
All right, let's go to Deltona. Doug, what's up, buddy? He says, you guys are in a rough spot, but I'm not too happy over here. Stuck with Brian Kelly, the definition of mid.
LSU's not good. They're not good.
UCLA, first off, UCLA's – I actually thought UCLA played better than who they are yesterday in some points. But they're still not very good. I don't know. LSU, to me, is just like you want to see one thing, and then you kind of see it. But it's not it. It's like on Hall Pass when he's looking at that chick across the bar. He's like, man, she's kind of hot. And then the boy's like, wait a minute, hold on, let me do this. You kind of turn it a little bit, and you're like, wow, she kind of got a beak.
She got a fucking Mozambique. All right, let's go to Daniel Monahan. Danny, what's up? He says, fellas, 3-9. Welcome to my argument. Go Noles.
Oh, look, hey, big dub last night.
You did it.
Beating Cal.
You did it. Cal's pretty good, man. Look, the more I watch Cal play, they're a pretty solid squad.
Hey, that Mendoza's got a little witch in him. He just, I don't know. He's got that, godly. Why is this kid with the eye patch hitting 325?
Let's go to Rogello G. What's up? Said, did a review and saw y'all gave Miami support. Keep favoring us. We'll make you money on those bets. Love the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Was it one person, Blaine?
Huh?
Was it was it the 629?
I'm cranky guy? In the mornings. All right. I don't like just do your homework.
But look, it's hard enough to predict exactly what's going to happen. Don't say we're wrong when we're not. We will be the first people to tell you, hey, we were wrong about this, that, and the other, because again,
what's funny enough is, I think all of us had Miami winning the ACC. I can't remember. What's funny enough is 4 weeks ago, we were catching hell from Clemson and Florida State fans saying, oh, Miami's back every year. And you guys are falling for the Kool-Aid.
Dude, Cam Ward's so good, bro. He's so good.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Matt. Appreciate it, Matt. We are a third of the way through the season. Give me your updated conference and championship game picks.
First off, don't say it like that. Third of the way through the season.
I don't like saying
that's
that.
So
Zach, no, I didn't. Third of the way through my life.
It just started, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like, listen, I'm 30.
I definitely know one thing. Auburn not winning anything. I think we can go ahead and establish that. They're definitely out.
Update on what?
Conference.
I would say I still feel good about Utah, obviously, in the Big 12, Miami in the ACC. Mm-hmm. Big 10. I watched Ohio State. I know they hit some big plays against Marshall. I just still don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm not all in on Ohio State.
Something feels off with Ohio State.
It just.
I go back to the Akron game. Akron was kind of beating them up front a little bit.
I don't know. Some kind of feels off. But
Oregon, still a lot of questions out there from the
Still a lot. We're going to find out, though, because they're about to play each other.
Can Michigan David?
Stop it.
Can
Stop
Michigan?
We're just trying to go 9-3.
Sneak their way up there.
9-3. Yeah, look, they played like they did in the first half. They're going to be competitive against a lot of teams. I think the Buckeyes will be fine, man. It's just that schedule. We just don't. I mean, they're going to have to go to Oregon, okay, and then they'll play Penn State. The SEC, though, I mean, I had Georgia.
Is Texas the best team right now in the SEC?
Well, even that one's interesting. Is Quinn Ewers going to be playing quarterback in November and December? I don't know. You tell me.
If he is, you got to go under the assumption he is, right? So if he is Texas the best team in the SEC right now?
They're good. They're
good.
I
just don't know how much we really know about Ole Miss. Like, I just don't. Yeah. You play.
I know they hit my TTP yesterday.
Yeah, they hit Jake's TTP too. I just don't know if we know enough about them. I think Texas is the best team after just, kind of what you're seeing unfold across the country. But I think Ole Miss could run with them. I think Georgia could run with them. Alabama, I mean, we'll still see with Alabama. That spread next week came out, and the more I look at it, the more I like the Alabama. Let's get through these donations. A $5 donation from Spence. Appreciate it, Spence. When are we going to start talking about BYU? Did that. Haven't allowed a passing touchdown yet this year. Or no, baby. Hashtag come to Provo.
It's incredible.
That's one, again, if you want to call us wrong on something, please call us wrong.
Yeah, I don't mind being wrong. It doesn't happen a lot, but at least just – if you're going to step up to the plate, I mean, don't watch a 2-0 fastball go right past you. $5 donation from Wardat says, please discuss. Okay. What do you do when your scheme/play calling is working offensively, but your players aren't executing / turning the ball over?
Well, that means your scheme's not working. Like because you have a player that doesn't fit the scheme, I guess. And look, Hugh Freeze is right in the press conference. It's not like he's running something that nobody else is running, or it's so hard to understand. It's not about as much about the scheme, though. That's what we keep trying to say. I would rather have better players and a simple scheme than worse players and the best scheme. I've seen coaches that are great schematically look like idiots because the players aren't good enough. And then I've seen coaches that couldn't draw up inside zone look like savants because they have the best players.
Les Miles ran tall sweeps and won a national championship.
Like, Ed Orgeron didn't speak English, and they won a national championship.
Oh,
that's how good LSU was. They have no idea what their coach said the entire year.
Keep me on going. They're like, Joe Burrow, go in there.
All right, let's go to a $5 donation from the Coffee Guy. It says, here to eat crow on Oklahoma's loss. I was right about one thing. Michael Hawkins is a beast. Should he start against Auburn? It don't matter.
Yeah, better than Steven.
It don't matter. Steven, the jet sweep, Steven was pretty nice.
Stop.
You could always hear him motioning.
Numbers game.
You could always hear him motioning when he come across the formation. Look, if there's ever a get right game or just a guy you want to throw a young guy into to get better, come on.
He may win the Maxwell Award after this weekend.
Yeah, come down to Jordan Hare. But no, I think Michael Hawkins is the future at Oklahoma.
We're just like you know what we are. Auburn has turned into like the slump buster. That's what
we're Vanderbilt.
Auburn's Vanderbilt. That's the slump buster. That's what we are. The Auburn right now is the slump buster. Hey, look, she break up with you? Like maybe those 8s aren't returning your calls. Look, there's a 4.5 walking around here that can make a funny joke or two, and she makes a mean spaghetti.
Not a big red sauce guy.
That's what Auburn is.
You'll take what you get.
That's what Auburn is. It's like we're the girl. No, Auburn right now is the girl that the 6.5 hangs out with to look like an 8.
Yeah, no, Auburn.
Didn't they make a movie about that?
Auburn's the girl. Yeah, Auburn's the girl that when your homie's risen up to 8.5, the 4.5 monster is coming into, hey, Lisa, and you're in there pass blocking. It's like, hey, what's up? What's up? I mean, you're talking about cook-offs on Netflix to her just so she won't.
Yeah, it's like, why do you smell like peanut butter?
Yeah. You have to meet her in the hole. Let's pull a block. You got to meet her in the hole. All right, let's go to $5 donation from Chayton Bussy. And boy, we busting. All right, is Doak Campbell tougher than Jordan Hare? Tough win for the Noles. You're just trying to piss me off today. Defense is starting to come around. All jokes, boys. Hashtag bench DJU. Hashtag we still suck.
2 of the best stadiums in America, man. I love them both.
Time is a long thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just
Hey, let me ask you guys this. What do you make about Bowling Green playing Texas A&M? They played Texas A&M close. They played Penn State close. Like, is Scotty Loeffler next in line to get a big job, or is he just going to keep it rolling?
How big, like David, like how, like big? Like,
I don't know. I was trying to think about it last night. Like I don't know.
If Jamie Chadwell goes somewhere, does he go to like Liberty or something?
I don't know. He's an Ohio guy, so the MAC's like a good fit. I'm talking about, would he get a Power 4 job? Or does he need to like win some of these games and not just play?
It's still like look, we're all excited for you, like we're all, but you have
close.
To win. Like, I know, but you have to win some of these games.
Yeah, but he's such a David. You know this though. He's such a well-known name in the coaching ranks among like ADs and stuff too. So he's a guy that if you miss on a couple, hey, let's let him come in here, throw a dip in, and let's figure something out in 12 personnel.
He'll do that.
Yeah, he will.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Tyler. Appreciate it, Tyler. Go Canes. Waking up 4-0 this morning. Blaine, you had more faith in us covering than I did. Bring on the turkeys from Blacksburg. Look, man, I said y'all going to rack up a lot of points in this game. They'll have an NFL offense. And right now, I believe that spread against Virginia Tech started at 14.5.
You trust that defense, though, Blaine?
No, not to win it all. I don't think they're good enough in the second.
Miami?
Yeah, I don't think they're good enough.
Kept giving up the same stuff.
That white kid, number 38 from South Florida. I don't know.
No chance he's white. No chance he's truly white.
I think he is.
No chance.
I think he is.
We need to look up his name.
Okay.
It's not like Trevor or something. I promise.
I'll go look it up right now. But like too many mistakes. You have all the talent in the world. Just I don't think your defense is good enough in the back end to win it all. That's just my opinion. $20 donation from Ant. Appreciate it, Anthony. What's really frustrating is watching the Auburn game, seeing the potential, and watching it be squandered away. Like I said earlier this week, Auburn football is in the upside down, but I still believe one huge thing we hit on all week, and we said that nobody was going to win this game. Yes. You could bet your ass somebody was going to lose it. Yeah, the Auburn Tigers did a really good job.
The main ingredient to make it that they put in Four Locos. I tried to tell you guys, it's Auburn, Arkansas game. It's like, all right, we're going to put some sugar, some caffeine. Ooh, let's get Auburn, Arkansas and just dump a quart in there. And that's what happens. That's when all of a sudden you wake up naked in the desert.
How about West Virginia coming back against Kansas, too?
Hey, can we stop having rain delays? That's back-to-back weeks, correct?
They had a rain delay against Penn State week 1, I think.
Well, it has to be a lightning delay, right? Like just because it's raining hard, you should play.
Yeah,
like you should play, right? They don't call off battles in war. They're like, it's just raining too hard. Can't do it. Put the guns away. Lightning's a different story.
Okay, yeah, number 38's name is Sean Atkins, and he's white.
How does he spell Atkins?
Is
there a J? Is there a silent J in there?
No, it's not. Yeah. All right, let's go to $10 donation from Byron Davis. Appreciate it, Byron. All I want to say is Blaine said Cade was not a good quarterback at all, and Clemson didn't have any skill players.
What is going on at Clemson? Is Georgia's defense just that good? Or are they just exposing App State?
I have never said Cade Klubnik wasn't a good quarterback. In what world? That's never came out of my mouth.
Well, what you said, and I remember this because me and you, this is something we talked about, was that don't expect Cade Klubnik to be Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence, but Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence had a lot better skill position players around them than Cade has. That was my main argument on Cade was everybody is blaming him, and you're not realizing where the T. Higgins, where the Nuke Hopkins, where the Justin Rosses, and going into the Georgia game, and then after, before, I was like, listen, these young skill guys that you're now excited about, right? Bo Collins goes to Notre Dame. You got these young guys in here. We know Browningstool can play. He's an NFL player. We talked about having these young guys that they're supposed to be really good. Antonio Williams is finally healthy. Playing against Georgia's defense in your first game is not a burst on the scene game. Yeah. Playing against Georgia in the playoff can be your burst on the scene game. Cade Klubnik was never the main problem. The two main problems were He didn't have enough help around him, and football is not an individual sport. It is the ultimate team sport. And then I thought Garrett Riley's play calling in the red zone last year was terrible. Mm-hmm. Even he said it was terrible, and that seems to be fixed. So I don't remember exactly what you said, but I do know that's what we said on Cade Club.
Yeah, Cade just had to become the guy everybody wanted Cade to be. All right, and I don't think you could rush that process, and I don't think that was going to happen against Georgia.
Well, he's got to do it against an elite team.
Yeah,
too.
Regardless.
Let's not act like
if you go back to last year, what we saw
South
was
Alabama about dropped that 80
big mistakes and big moments, and that can't happen this year. From a talent standpoint, he's got it, right? He's got it, but that has to translate onto the field. Let's go to a $10 donation from Carson. Thank you, Carson. Designated driver here. Carson, we're going to get to this one last because we got to get to all these, buddy. And I don't think we have time for a motivational speech right now until the end of the show. $5 donation from Bo. Appreciate it, Bo. Auburn fact, in 2012, we had 15 interceptions in the 3-9 season. We already have 8 through 4 games. Is there even a chance to go better than 3-9 this year?
God, you know the saddest part? I thought we had more than 8. We only got 8? God, it feels like a lot more than 8. I feel like we had 8 yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't. Here's the problem. The personnel's not going to get better at the positions it needs to be. There's not some savior that's going to fly in. Like Captain Hindsight isn't going to fly into Auburn and start playing quarterback and it's going to be fixed. Can you coach them up better? Yes. So maybe that can be fixed. But at this point, it's tough. And I get it. Hugh Freeze is like, well, you know, we're getting tested now. Bro, I'm sick of taking this test. Dog, this is like 9 ACTs back to back to back. When does the testing end? When do I get to put my pencil down and walk out of the classroom and go to my car? Like, damn, this is the longest test ever. Every week, it's a test. It's a test. It's a test. Except Alabama A&M, which I guess was just when you sign your name before the test.
You get points for that.
Damn.
You get points for that, for real.
Let's get a $5 donation from War Chant. Appreciate it. I believe it said that Nebraska will beat the piss out of Illinois. Finding Illini. Hashtag go Illy.
How about Illinois and Stanford, to be honest? Both those teams.
The Illinois game, the Illinois win shocked me more than the Stanford one, because you knew Iron Maynor was a legit player. National Daniels could run around a little bit, but Illinois couldn't stop the run. And then they not only stopped the run, they had a lot of success running it at Nebraska. Mm-hmm. And then Luke Altmaier had the game of his life.
He's good, man.
Yeah, but I don't think people piling on Raiola. That was Dylan Raiola didn't lose in that game. Yeah, you missed the 4th string tight end in the end zone there at the end. But let's not act like that was the main reason you lost. I thought that was maybe one of Tony White's worst games defensively. In your 400th consecutive sellout, you never lost on the 200, the 250, the 300, the 350. Even Vegas had you as a double-digit favorite right before kickoff. So, yeah, but you got to give credit to Illinois. They've now beaten Kansas and Nebraska.
I'll tell you what's most alarming for Nebraska is the way they played that overtime.
That's the worst overtime I've ever seen.
That was pathetic.
Man. That might be the worst overtime I've ever seen from one side of it.
You can't play it worse than that.
They look like they checked out. And you're at home.
There's no way.
Me.
It was 3rd and 46.
Yeah. But Luke Altmaier, man, he's making the most of this transfer from Ole Miss. And they're top 25. They're going to keep climbing.
Dude, shout out Bielema, man. He just always finds a way, dog.
Yeah, he does.
Just from a play calling
and he married
standpoint,
like a 9.
Yeah, and they were beating Nebraska up front.
That was the craziest part.
Up. And the second half started leaning on him. You could tell.
Hey, and there's Indiana too in the Big Ten. Kirk Nettie can just flat out coach ball. Rutgers big win. That was a dog pick. We talked about taking Rutgers money line over Virginia Tech.
Look, if it weren't for Notre Dame absolutely choking it down the stretch and only winning by 25, your boy's walking clean this week.
Oh, dude, if the under hits in the Michigan USC game, if the second half doesn't happen, I hit everyone, including the dogs outside of Coastal Carolina. Which, God, they look bad.
I cleared my dogs. I'm telling you, Arkansas money line was one of the easiest bets.
Yeah, I hit that one.
You can make.
I'll tell you, it cost me Coastal Carolina against Virginia.
Bro.
Coastal Carolina couldn't stop the run against.
That was so bad. That was bad.
Look, go back
and
to
like
the drawing
Virginia,
board, man.
I mean, I like Tony Elliott, man. Calandria is a good player. Like we saw some things even as a freshman, but golly, Coastal just defensively looked like they just forgot.
Yeah, or never knew.
Knew.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Devin Thibodeau. Appreciate it, Devin. I hate college football currently. Can't wait for the next week. Hashtag fear the fork. Hashtag activate the valley.
I don't know where you're going with that. I fear the fort and activate the valley. I mean, let's get it. Sign me up.
All right, let's go to a $10 donation from Christina. Appreciate it, Christina. My boys in blue came through and survived. Grateful for the win. All I can do is watch football while recovering from meniscus surgery for the next 6 weeks. Go blue.
Good luck.
Go Lions, Christina. I hope you get better.
Go blue.
Get better.
We all believe in you. Let's go to a $10 donation from I Need Help. You good, Dave?
Yes, thank you. I might need help.
You, sir.
It's a sickly boy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking about. He said, Jake, please, somebody come help me. I know you said you wanted Hugh here, but something has to change.
And I want to make sure everybody knows, I don't think Hugh Freeze should be fired. That's not – I still think he can do it. I'm just starting to really lose faith quickly. I don't know another way to put that. I thought, you know what? Hire a guy that's proven he can make a good steak. He may not be able to be the best at making sides and dessert. He may not know exactly what type of wine pairs with it, but he'll make a damn good steak. And then he shows up, and the steak is not only average, I don't think you cooked it all the way through. And I wanted it medium rare, and that's saying a lot. So it's like the Sam Pittman thing. How are you Sam Pittman, and you're bad on the offensive line at Arkansas? Be bad at what you're bad. You can't be right-handed and a better dribbler with your left. Like that just doesn't work. So that's where I'm concerned. We're bad at where you're supposed to be the best at. That's where I'm concerned.
Let's go to a $10 donation. Here he is from our one and only Heartbroken Hog. It's really poetic that Jake and Blaine picked us to go 3-9 preseason, and our third win comes against y'all's team. Good on Blaine to recognize his mistake and make money on us. Bowl game, here we come. Look, I tweeted it. Don't let emotion cloud your judgment when it comes to making money.
Yeah, don't confuse you guys beating Auburn with y'all being good. Y'all have a lot of problems.
Yeah, I don't think
y'all basically beat up a blind kid yesterday. So
how excited are you if you're Arkansas fans?
I had so many Arkansas fans.
You don't look great.
Yeah, message me and say like I can't even enjoy this win. Like I'm not like I had so many of them message me like there's some games you can talk trash after. This ain't one of them, my friend. Like it's congrats, you outran the fat kid to the yogurt factory. I mean, I don't, that was just, dude, that was bad. Taylor's insane. You got to stop. You're putting yourself in harm's. I can't believe he came back in, and then they ran him.
Dana White.
Right when he came back in, they ran him.
Dana White's trying to sign him to UFC.
Yeah, he's like, well, are you sure he's not a Diaz brother?
Let's go to Miller with the $5 donation. Appreciate it. He says he says Illinois and Penn State line stinks. Also, I told you not Santa or Jesus at quarterback can help Texas A&M.
What's the
Santa's pretty good. He's really good job of keeping his eyes downfield when he scrambles.
Yeah, I mean at least he can recruit. But, I mean, those guys didn't have an option. Are they there willing? Like, does anybody really know?
Are the elves there willingly?
Yeah, I don't
Why
know.
has no one else asked that question before?
Hey, I know slave labor when I see it, and you've got all one type of person in there working for you.
It's amazing when it gets cold outside. Everybody's 6 foot. Everybody I see. Little ones walking around. Where do they go?
Same with Willy Wonka, right?
Oh, yeah. I heard he was at the Diddy party. We need to do something with him. Like, he's up to something not good. Not good at all. First of all, you're faking injuries. You're rolling out. You're rolling out like you're hurt. Then you're getting up, acting like you're okay. That's half the problem.
Kirk
Herbstreit said it on the show.
That's an SOS signal.
Yeah. Kirk Herbstreit. Yeah. What y'all thought about that when you talk about Oklahoma? All the players.
Kirk was not happy.
Unethical.
Not happy.
Unethical. Your parents raised you wrong.
He's like, it's pathetic.
Good. Join the get off my lawn movement.
I mean, penalize them.
Also, 18 is the line. Penn State minus 18 against Illinois.
Penn State. I don't know. God, they covered against Kent State, but I don't know.
This is the type of game. It's just you win a big one. You win a big one. But the thing about it is like Penn State up front now.
Yeah, dude. David, Blaine's over at my house yesterday, and he's got Kent State minus 46 or Penn State minus 46.5. Like, there's some cheddar on it. And we got the game on the laptop. Think about this if you're Kent State. You roll into Penn State after getting destroyed by Tennessee.
Yeah.
23 seconds in, your quarterback is on a stretcher.
No.
Dude.
23 seconds in the game.
14 minutes and 37 seconds ago, and their quarterback, they're like wheeling them into the ambulance. The backup quarterback was like, down.
Yeah. Kent State played a game of how quick can we get out of here. They ran the ball every play.
Those poor guys. I hope that quarterback's okay, too. I'm not trying to make fun of him being hurt, but I looked at Blaine and I was like, God, if I'm Kent State's backup, I mean, this is not when I woke up and ate team breakfast this morning, this is not how I thought this was going to happen.
So that was like Ole Miss against Georgia Southern. They're up 10-0 in the first 90 seconds. And I had the TPP over, same as you, Jake. I thought, they're going to score 90. And then at halftime, it's like 34, 35. I'm like, what's going on here?
David, in one moment last night, on both my locks, I had Colorado money line and the Ole Miss TTP over 49.5. Ole Miss scores that last touchdown. Thank God they kept Jackson Dart in there because Lane wants him to win the Heisman. He throws the touchdown pass. I'm like, all right, I hit it. Then I look at the Colorado game as Baylor takes the 7-point lead, and I'm like, oh, it's cooked. Hail Mary, extra point, overtime touchdown, fumble at the goal line. Never a doubt.
And Baylor missed the field goal. How are we missing that field goal? But the Ole Miss, I had the TTP 51.5, so I needed the extra point too.
Nice. Those always get sticky at the end. All right, $10 donation from Carson. Never appreciate it, Carson. Designated driver here. Can I get a motivational speech from my wife who's having a C-section tomorrow? Also having a baby girl, Mary Hayes. Love the show. Let's keep winning the water cooler.
Congratulations.
A motivational speech for a C-section. Let's see you tiptoe around this one, brother.
Yeah. Dear Carson, right? It's Carson.
Yo, her name's Christy.
Christy,
the wife.
Wow. I hope it starts with a C. How crazy is that, right? Because that is your section, literally and metaphorically and physically. So, first off, I hope everything goes well. We have a baby girl that's due in January. Don't know if it's going to be C-section or if it's going to be an old-fashioned. You know what I'm saying? Not sitting in the tub or anything like that. But
those are the best.
Just an old-fashioned, hey, here they are, down the pipe. Let's get it going. In all seriousness, I hope everything is okay. We're going to be praying for you guys.
Yeah.
Rooting for you guys. Please tell me how it is. I can't wait for January. It's going to be here before you know it. But remember, it doesn't matter if it's in the upper deck, the lower deck, the section doesn't matter. All right. It's just that you get there. And that's the most important.
Yeah, let's make sure you call Jake, Christy, and tell him how the C-section went. I'm sure you can't wait to hear it. Let's go to a $5 donation from Byron Davis. You said it before the season, not saying Clemson is the 2018 team. Just want to say the last two games is a look at what the team is playing as 11-1.
Confidence.
Yeah, Byron, I never said Cade Klubnik wasn't good. I said he had to prove it to us, right? We haven't seen him do that yet, especially in big games.
I can't believe you disrespected
and like big moments. I just can't believe Jake was talking about old fashions and C-sections in the same sentence. You got to love the show.
Well,
I believe that is all the donations for today. Thank you guys so much. If I missed your donation, sorry. Suck it, nerds.
All right, hey, Cody, you got anything?
No, man, this was great.
Go blue!
Go blue!
Yeah,
we did it, David. So I think about you the whole game.
Yeah. Good call, man. Good pick. I'll take the gift them every week if that's what it takes.
Yeah,
karate in the garage.
SMU, watch out.
Hey, $2 donation from War Chant. Shout out to my son Colson on his level up day. Colson, happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, dude.
Happy birthday, Colson.
All right, make sure y'all check us tomorrow live, 2 p.m. Central. Find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Daily Wire Play, all that stuff. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a crazy week 5. And we got some big, huge, amazingly huge news. Huge. All right. Going to talk to y'all later. See ya.